This is Bob Ambrogi, and I am here live at the Clio Cloud Conference in San Diego, where I'm interviewing a number of the companies and individuals who are in attendance here for the next couple of days. And right now I'm here with Nehal Madhani, the founder and CEO of Alt Legal. How are you today?
Good. It's a fun time always this time of year with Clio's Cloud Conference here.
Yeah. So just for the benefit of any of our listeners who don't know what Alt Legal is, just give us the quick synopsis of what you do.
Sure. So Alt Legal's IP docketing software. So what that means is we help law firms and in-house legal teams create, manage, and track their trademark filings. So if you've ever done trademark work, you know it's not a one and done transaction. There's always ongoing maintenance and deadlines, whether it's objections or renewals. And our software tracks that without all the manual input that's been associated with it over the years.
And how long have you been in business?
Company's been around for 6 years now. I left in 2013 from Kirkland and started this, and I had a lot less gray hairs back then.
You do not have gray hairs. And I think I've known you many of those 6 years now.
I know, right?
What was it that caused you to want to start this in the first place? So what was your background and what was the problem that you saw?
Sure. So my background was I started actually a company in college and ran it to law school. And it was an online classifieds company letting college students buy and sell things from each other. And in the process, I really learned that I liked entrepreneurship, but this was probably about halfway through law school. And that company didn't work out. We ran out of money. But I graduated in 2009, and I thought about starting another business back then or taking a safe job, which was an offer at Kirkland to join their Chapter 11 group. So I did that. And after 4 years of doing Chapter 11 work, it was kind of enough. I knew I didn't want to make a career out of it. So I left and actually started my first legal tech company, which was entirely different. It was a marketplace connecting lawyers and businesses together, kind of like Up Counsel and Priority Legal and Law Trades and the like. And for us, it just wasn't a great business. But in that process, I actually did my own IP work. I found my own trademark and my own patent and realized what a broken process it was. And it was kind of really so compelling that I shut down the marketplace, got together with IP Paralegal, and started solving the inefficiencies associated with IP filings.
It's really interesting because I for some reason, just always thought you practiced IP law, and
it's a good
but you
assumption.
came at this as a client, not as a lawyer.
That's
really.
right. And what was great about that is that I had never seen a docketing system before, and it allowed me to kind of approach it from an outsider's perspective, saying that if we were to invent a docketing system in 2014 back then, what would we have done?
Yeah.
Whereas all the systems that we compete with, even to this day, and the ones that have been in the market for 30-some years, are essentially glorified spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And so we were able to invent a modern UI, modern experience that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's all cloud-based?
All cloud-based.
Yeah.
We never had on-prem.
With Clio?
We integrated with Clio. I think we did that one in 2015, right at Legal Tech Show.
Yeah.
So we were one of the early ones. I think at that point maybe it was like a dozen companies that integrated.
Yeah. So what does that mean? What does the integration look like?
So for us, it means we really help lawyers avoid duplicate data entry and provide them redundancy. So we take every deadline that's in Alt Legal and put it into your Clio calendar, so you can see that alongside every other deadline that you have within your firm, not just IP prosecution, but maybe litigation deadlines that you have.
Yeah.
The second is we take every contact that's in Alt Legal and we can send it to Clio, and we take every contact that's in Clio and send it in Alt Legal. So this way, if you want to take a trademark portfolio that you have and you want to share with your client, you don't have to go out and look for their email address again. You can just bring it in from Clio.
Yeah. You're not the only product out there on the market that does this. So what is it that distinguishes you from the others? Why do you think that you do it better than any of your competitors out there?
It's a great question. So for us, the first is really our automation is, I think, second to none. The way we calculate USPTO trademark deadlines and the accuracy by which we calculate them is, again, second to none. But the other two reasons that our customers pick us is because we have a modern UI, modern experience. It's easy to use. Our demos, which are about 20 minutes long, act as a training for most of our customers. And then the third is customer support. unlike our competitors, we don't actually charge for trainings. We're probably the only IP docketing company that I've seen that has live chat support built right into the software. And that's actually unique in our space.
You have, I believe you still have, unless anything has changed, an integration relationship with Wolters Kluwer.
We do.
That continues.
Yes.
Can you describe that?
Yeah, so what we found is that Wolters Kluwer had all of this great trademark law content and just broadly IP law content. And that's great to have, but as an IP practitioner, you need it when you have that specific issue. And the software that actually tells you when you have that specific issue is actually ours. It tells you what deadlines you have to address, whether it's an objection or a renewal, like I mentioned, or any other kind of deadline.
Yeah.
So what we did is, if you're a WK customer for one of their two products, Trademark Navigator or Cooler IP Law,
yeah,
what we will do is show you the content that's relevant to the issue and the deadlines that you have right in the software. So you don't have to go out and fumble and look for it. It's going to show you that extra resource when you're actually thinking about that exact issue.
Yeah.
And so
you have recently made a couple of announcements, including for the first time making an acquisition of another company, which I guess says something about your own growth as a company. But tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have a lot of competitors. A lot of them are smaller and they've kind of been in the market for a while. And so we approached a couple of them and were able to work out deals that allowed their customers to take advantage of all of the features that we have and make that transition seamless. So that acquisition that we announced publicly, which was Mark 10, we were actually able to transition all of their customers from their platform to ours in under 2 weeks. And so we found that we can really give them extra value, and the problems that we're solving are similar for them to understand pretty quickly. And there was another deal that we also did that was a little less public.
You only told me about one of them.
Yeah. So that one wasn't quite an acquisition, but there was another company called NameWarden that also transitioned all their customers to us as well.
Yeah, I know them. And this is all recent. I mean, the Mark 10 was just less than a month ago, right?
Exactly.
Or roughly a month ago?
I think NameWarden was just a couple weeks before that or a few weeks before that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been a busy summer, end of summer, fall for us.
It's been a busy summer. I mean, it seems to me, it's always, from where I sit, it's always kind of hard to get a sense of how well a company is doing. But I talked to you pretty early on in your lifespan. I can't remember exactly when I first spoke to you, but it was not long after you got started. And it seemed to me that you've had a pretty steady growth. What's the trajectory been like for you over the 6 years that you've been in business?
So fortunately, since we got into the IP docketing world, right, we left the marketplace, and that was really, like I said, at 2014 we got into IP docketing. It's been, like you said, steady. We've been growing every month. We've never had a down month, knock on wood. We've really just kind of approached the market by solving the customers' problems, listening to their customers, and as I mentioned to you, we've never done traditional venture money. We've been running the company largely on revenue, so we kind of have to just make those sort of trade-off decisions and just focus on delighting our customers.
Yeah. Was that to use a horrible phrase, a conscious decision? not to use... We hope all our decisions are conscious decisions, but I mean, was it intentional that you, from the beginning, that you didn't want to take venture money? Or?
So we went through a startup accelerator, and that's the funding that you mentioned in your article. And when we did, naturally, right after the accelerator, the goal is for you to raise money.
Yeah.
So we did actually try to raise venture money in 2014. We weren't successful at all. It was a traditional objections that I think legal tech companies heard, and I think are starting to hear less now, but it was like, legal market's slow to change. How big is this broader market? Do lawyers even want to use tech? All of the traditional objections. So we struck out there. And at that point, what happened is we came across some angel investors who supported us. Some of our customers made small bets in us. And then that's how we started funding the company and taking it from one stage to the other. Yeah. So it wasn't conscious at the beginning, but in later stages of our company's history, it has been. I think now, as sort of Jack mentioned in his keynote, a lot of investors are into legal technology. We probably get 1 to 3 inbound inquiries a week about potential funding or investment in us, and we do turn it down right now because we are capitalized. We have the resources to go forward.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it was a failed attempt.
Yeah. Well, here we are at ClioCon, the 7th Clio Cloud Conference. It's grown from 200 people the first year to 2,000 people this year. And I guess what's a legal tech company if you don't have a user conference, right?
Good question. Good segue. So what we have done is now we have around 750 law firms and legal departments use us. That means thousands of users. And we've attended a lot of IP conferences ourselves. We know what we like, what we don't like. And we've heard from our customers that there really isn't a conference that they are genuinely excited about in the way that, I think you see people excited about Clio. So we thought, we're going to do our own user conference. So in March of next year, we're going to be hosting what I think is going to be the first trademark law conference in Brooklyn. It's not going to be as much of a user conference as it is just going to be on the business of trademark law. We're going to talk about how IP law firms can be more efficient. We're going to talk about subscription billing models. We're going to talk about how to write a cease and desist letter that goes viral, like if you saw what Budweiser did or Netflix did with Stranger Things. And we're going to talk about topics that they don't find elsewhere.
Yeah.
So Alt Legal will be there. Our customer support team will be there.
Yeah.
All of our team members will be there. But it will be really just a different kind of trademark law conference.
Well, it's sort of similar to this conference. I mean, this is sort of a user conference because a lot of Clio customers come to it, but you don't have to be a Clio customer to come to this conference and benefit from it.
And Clio's not really pushing their products or software beyond, there's a Genius Bar, there's some, if you power tips if you want, but other than that, just go and get inspired.
Yeah. So that's March 22nd to 24th in Brooklyn, New York.
In Brooklyn, New York.
And where can people find out about that?
So altlegal.com/connect. We just announced our first roster of speakers, and there's going to be a lot more announcements to come.
Awesome.
But it's going to be a good couple days for our customers and trademark folks generally.
Good. What else is on the agenda? What else is ahead for Alt Legal?
So we're going to be rolling out a lot of new products next year, certainly oriented around research and data. There's a lot of data that's associated with trademark filings, and there aren't a lot of companies that are really analyzing it the right way. So those are two product lines that we're going to be announcing next year.
So apply analytics to the trademark data?
Exactly, as a baseline simple example, right? So if you file a trademark today, and how many days would it take the USPTO to process? So when should your next follow-up on that trademark be?
Yeah.
So that you can make sure nothing slips through the cracks. That's just a baseline example,
right.
But there's a lot of data embedded in it, and our system stores 10 million US trademark filings and the related documents. So there's a lot of insight that we can give to trademark lawyers to help them do their job more effectively, to make it smarter for them to do their job, to help them succeed in procuring the trademark using data.
Yeah.
So that's the next phase of our company.
Awesome. A long way from online classifieds in high school.
And
Nehal,
embarrassingly, the name of that company was Blue Freak.
Wait, what was it?
Blue Freak. So we've gotten a long way in branding as well.
Yeah, good. Well, Nehal, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today. Good to see you.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks.